Okay, how's this sound? I'm gonna go in the room just to test it out. Guys! Hello! Music every time.
Welcome back to another episode of Coast to Coast with Rob and Maiya Spring.
That was really good. As you could tell, we have some guests here too. This is Sochi. Say hello, Sochi. Okay, Bruce.
This is going to be interesting.
Say hello, buddy. Look, the camera's that way.
We are dog sitting.
And we're just practicing for our actual dog that we're going to get. All right. This is the official welcome back.
Yes.
He's back with me. It's way better this way, right?
It's so much better this way.
But like I said, he has been working hard, and now we're going to dive back into the series I started. And are you ready for this?
So ready.
So ready?
Kind of nervous.
Why are you nervous?
I don't know. We're going to put my whole dating history on blast here.
We're going to do whatever you're comfortable with. We see it before it goes live. Don't worry. We're going to catch you guys up, actually, first of all, with what life's looking like. But we're going to start with a little sip of the pod. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm
Good
so
thing that
glad
wasn't open. But I do hear the carbonation a little bit. I told you guys I love poppies, and this is a Doc Pop flavor. So I'll open this up in a second.
But
who are we supporting with?
Watch this.
What? That gets rid of it, like exploding?
Trick. Yep.
Wait. Tell them who you're supporting here.
I'm supporting Tom Holland. Non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
Beero.
We love Tom Holland in this household.
Delicious.
Yeah. Let's clink it up.
There we go.
Clinkety
clank.
That's good. That's better. It's not as cold as I would want, but it's better than the root beer one I tried from Poppy, I have to be honest. Like you can taste like the carbonation and the soda flavor. All right, sip of the pods. Success. Okay. First of all, it's been a bit actually since we were both on here. So do you want to just update them on like what life is looking like right now? What do you do today? What is the biggest thing that we're doing right now?
Big thing we're doing right now is we're looking for a new apartment.
Heck yes.
Our lease isn't up for like another month and a half, but the prices are going up. So
prices are going up. We didn't set ourselves up for success. However, we didn't really have much control of that when we came here originally. Like my residency had a set time, but that means that every summer, if we were to move when our lease ends, it will be the summertime, and that's not the smartest time. Yeah, we would love to have. Well, we are going to be getting a second bedroom.
Yeah, we're bursting at the seams here.
Yeah, how are you feeling about that? Is it stressful? Are you excited? What's your emotions?
It's a roller coaster. I'm very excited. It's just timing is going to be everything because so many places are offering like 6 weeks free, 8 weeks free. And it's like, if we line it up perfectly, we give us time to like slowly move in instead of doing a mad dash because first of all, I hate moving.
Psych, we're moving across the country again. Get ready. Imagine. No. We are stoked that we're not doing a cross-country move. That's the only thing. Like when we were talking about moving, I was like, I'm not even stressed. I'm psyched. Now that we're getting into the details, it's a little bit stressful, but just because you got to make all the
things. It is. Maya grounded me. She's like, we're not moving across the country. I'm like, that's so true. Like, it's funny. 2 of the places we're looking at are super close to where we're at.
Near to us, guys. Where it makes you question if you're going to like put everything in the car or
just walk it over.
Just walk it over.
We're going to be walking down the street with a mattress. It's going to be awesome.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I just came out of an insanely busy period at work.
Yeah. Tell them what your life's been looking like the last couple of weeks or where your head's at.
Oh, I'm like miles ahead of where I was probably 2 weeks ago. Because I would go to work, come home exhausted. And it was pretty much like that for a month straight. My work year doesn't really end until the end of February. And so lots of planning. It's been really good though.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of myself.
That's huge to say. I feel like you wouldn't have always said that. So
excited for things to slow down.
Yeah.
It's going to be really nice.
Slow is good. Yeah. Slow is good.
Yep. Gotten back in the gym, which has been like a game changer for me. Yeah. Anything else? Lots of Netflix. Reading.
Lots of Netflix. Yeah.
Been diving back into reading.
We've been watching The House of David, which we've been loving. Good. And then The Pit, which is like a hospital show, which you wouldn't think that's what I want to watch on my off days, but it's kind of amazing. I joined a small group at church, so that's been really nice just to venture out and meet some more people, and we're just continuing on our Seattle life.
Been kind of cloudy and rainy lately.
Been really cloudy and rainy. We're looking forward to the sun. We are going out of town. We'll update you guys whenever we're back from that, but let's just say we're going to be catching a lot of sun.
I can't wait.
I'm excited for that. We need a getaway.
Yes.
Yeah.
very much so.
And then you said reading, which you're not wrong about that. Yep. I have been reading. Yes, these are some of our collections. Yeah, I think that's the biggest updates since we've been gone. I'm happy to be doing this with you.
Me too.
Okay, so last time I was on here, I was talking to you guys about singleness. And we did dive a little bit into dating, but not really like the nitty gritty. How do you want to go about this actually? Do you want to dive into your singleness journey, or do you want to just dive right into dating?
Yeah, I can give you guys a little bit update on my dating journey and singleness journey.
What was your outlook on singleness?
I'll give like Austin forward. So, I mean, coming from Boston, moved to Austin. And when I moved to Austin initially, it was like really important for me to take like a break from dating. So I actually took like an entire year off from dating, which was really awesome. I met I talked about the last podcast, but got plugged in at a great church, met some amazing guys. And then like, it was something I was really focused on. And then it became something that like, I was more just living in, and it wasn't something that I was like, oh, not dating until this date. And then I got to a point where I'm like, all right, I feel like I'm like in a good spot where I can start dating. So like definitely dated a little bit in Austin. Dating in Austin's kind of it's interesting. So I understand it. It's a very young city.
Yeah.
Like very young. It's
a lot of transplants.
Mostly
transplants.
A lot of the people are like mid-20s, early 30s. So it really exploded in that demographic. And I don't think it like being in a serious committed relationship was like on the top of a lot of people's minds, which is, I mean, I
definly say the same.
Yeah.
Not for myself, like, but just in general of the dating population.
It is what it is.
For a season.
So dated on and off while I was in Austin. And then some pretty girl slid into my DMs.
We're driving right
and that was...
Did you just say I slid in your DMs?
Slid into my DMs on Hinge.
Yeah, technically we matched on Hinge, and you technically could say that I initiated, actually.
You definitely initiated.
But this is a hot take. I don't even know if we've like said this anywhere, but everyone's like, okay, is it okay for the girl to make the first move? I think yes, if this is a big if. I do think you gotta let them like set the precedent. Like he always pursued me from that point on. Like you just gotta give him a little something, you know, to know. I think this is so true. I feel like as a guy, it's gotta be hard to like know what the girl's thinking. It's hard for guys to always make the first move, I feel like, and like always be rejected. Not always, but I feel like more often than not, it's on the guy to start. Is that right or wrong?
Yeah, I had a buddy I worked with in Austin. We would go out. It was like when I first moved there.
Yeah.
And I'd be like his quote unquote wingman.
Yeah.
But he would go up to every single girl and say, "Hey, what's up? My name's so and so." And then within like 2 minutes, he'd come back. He'd be like, "It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, your confidence is so high. I could never deal with that much rejection."
Yeah, it's a lot to take. I feel like it really is. But I feel like the least the girl can do sometimes is just like give something back, you know, give them a hint.
It's a fun back and forth.
I wanted to make you feel confident too in like pursuing me, because I obviously had interest, and I wanted to, you know, it's like a puzzle, not a game, but like you have to figure out where the other person's at. And so I kind of initiated like, you know, us meeting and hanging out. And then like from that point, if the guy's not pursuing you or like kind of setting that precedent, then that's, I think, when it becomes like a worry. Is that fair to say? Like,
yeah,
I still think that it should be primarily like,
yes,
the guy stepping into that role, you know?
It should be the guy that is like driving forward and pursuing. And I think that translates into a lot of different areas in a relationship.
And don't get me wrong, guys. I was the girl who got him flowers. Like, this is very much like
did get
not
me flowers. Not
like,
the first date.
I don't mean him being the only guy, like only one to pursue me. But I feel like for me going into dating, that's what I wanted. Like, I wanted to be more that's dicey to say more pursued, but you know, do you know what I mean though? Like, okay. So anyways, back to Hinge and you starting. Wait, I want to back it up to you single, and we don't have to go all the way back to oh my gosh.
I always told Maiya, I was like, I'm so glad I met you when I was 31. I was like, because you would not have liked me when I was 26. And
to be fair, I probably wouldn't have, but
I did a lot of growing up and maturing. I could probably write an entire book of like how not to date and what not to do.
Yeah, and I think that's what everyone needs to hear, is that you weren't always in this the mindset of like being ready to be in a committed relationship? Like you had your stages of singleness, right? Like did you have stages where you were single and like, oh, I'm so glad I'm single because I can do blah, blah, blah? Did you have stages where you're like, oh, I hate that I'm single?
Yeah, it's a pendulum. There would be seasons where I'd be like, oh, this is great. Like I can do whatever I want. I'm like really only focused on myself. And then there are the times of being like, oh man, this would be really nice to be doing this with somebody else. And I would like really long for it. And it would be seasons.
Would you say the people that you surrounded yourself, this can go as far back as you want, like to your Hawaii days or to Austin days, like do you feel like you had a lot of other people in your life who were single or more people who were in a relationship? Like what was that like
that's a
to see
really
people
good
around
question.
you?
So I always knew I wanted to get married and start a family. And I think that largely was impacted by my family. Older brother, older sister are both married. They have like awesome, amazing families. And I saw the joy that they had, lots of kids, nieces and nephews. Like I became an uncle when I was 14 years old. So I grew up like just around like committed marriages, amazing families. So I knew that was something that I had always wanted. And likewise with friends, like my core group of friends back in Massachusetts got married pretty young. And I would see the happiness and the joy that they were experiencing, but also I don't want to say that like it's something I envied, but like the hard times that they would go through, but seeing that they had each other was something that was really incredible. I would say when I moved to Austin, it was pretty even. I had like my really close guy friends that were married. I also had friends that were single. So it was a balance, but I would say like the people I was spending the most time with, when I really found like my tight knit core group of people, that is like, I would say when I had like the healthiest outlook on relationships.
Do you feel like the people in your life supported you with like the stage that you were at? Or if you were like on your own, did you feel supported to like push into yourself, to grow yourself, to be ready for a relationship? Or was it like, go find your girl already? Like, what are you doing? Like,
I would say like my boys in Texas were more like, you'll know when you're ready. And then a lot of people outside that bubble, it's just like, go find a girl. Like, it's funny. A lot of people said like, oh, you're totally going to find your wife in Texas. Where I was like, yeah, I don't know. Turns out I did. And it'd be like, I know you probably got this a lot, but it'd be like, oh, you're such a great girl. You're such a great guy. How are you single? And it's just like,
holding out for the one.
How do I answer that question?
Yeah,
no, but I would say I was like heavily supported by my community of guys, like very, very supportive of when I started pursuing you and what that looked like.
It's a huge testament to the people you had around you. When we were dating initially, he wanted to bring me around all of his friends, and your friends had like a huge part in how welcomed I felt into your life because of the way that they just brought me into everything with you and their group.
Funny, it's something I had never done dating before that, like that fast. Whereas like we were only like dating
a month and a half,
and I'm like, you want to come get dinner with like me and all of my friends?
It was like this breakfast after his gym workout, and I ate the most I've ever eaten around him before.
That was awesome.
It was hilarious. Like I was just like, I felt like it was very seamless, and like we were just in our element, and it was really cool just to be around everybody. I just thought that was like a huge green flag.
What were your thoughts when I invited you to come hang out with all of my friends?
I thought it was like an honor to be there. I was like not expecting that. I also on the receiving end haven't always had that with like being brought that early. But even us saying that, it didn't feel like it was early at the time. But hearing from you saying you'd never done that before or that this wasn't normal, I guess that was like a huge indicator of like how the feelings were really real. And I think hearing from your friends the same thing, because you would tell me that, but then your friend would say like, oh, like Rob doesn't bring anybody around. Like, and so that was like another level that I just knew like things were a little bit different for you. Like this wasn't just like a simple, like, let's just have fun. It was like, okay, I'm really bringing you around the people who mean a ton to me. Like I could see how much you cared about all your friends. And so the fact that I was brought into that, I thought that was like really amazing, clearly. And then I guess, I mean, this is really up to you how much you want to dive into.
Bring it on.
Let's
Give me the hard questions.
When you were single, were there any, like, there were times that I know you just wanted that season to end. Like, did you feel like God was like far away from you sometimes during those times of singleness, or did you always have like a positive outlook on it? Like, what did your faith look like?
Good question. Again, it was a pendulum. There were times where I felt like very secure and comfortable in this, like in that waiting season. I hated that phrase. That waiting.
I talked about that too. And
I was like super comfortable, like being in my own skin. I think like what really stretched me was that season that I committed to be like, hey, I'm just not dating for this season of my life right now. And it truly became something that I wasn't even thinking about. And there was just a lot of peace and comfort around it. But I definitely had my times where it's just like, what the heck? Why hasn't this worked out? Whether it be like a failed relationship, just seeing like all of my friends getting married and they all have like their significant other. Those are the moments where I'd be like, why did it happen for this guy who like
it feels so far out of reach for you.
Why not me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because singleness is so different when it's being done to you or it's like out of your control, but then it's compared to like, oh, I'm gonna have this time set apart where I know I don't want to be in a relationship, I'm not ready for a relationship, and I'm deciding to be single. It's like two different like you said, the pendulum.
It would be really funny though, because I would have my moments where I'd be like, yeah, like I'm gonna start dating again, like I really want it, and then I would go on like 3 or 4 first dates. I'd be like, okay, I'm over it. I'm all set. How many times can I have the same conversation? Yeah.
Nice. Okay, I feel the same. Okay, let's get into dating. First of all, let's just keep it light and fun here for a second. There's gonna be some controversial little Q&A questions here.
I love it.
And then we're just gonna talk about dating icks before we get into it. We'll get into the more like nitty gritty stuff. But which one do you want? Controversial first, or do you want dating icks?
I want to do dating icks.
Dating icks for 2. Okay. All right. Do you want to go back and forth? What's a huge dating ick for you?
Huge dating ick. Okay, first date for a guy.
Okay.
Always pays. Like that's just how I was raised. Guy.
Literally, the first one I had was boy doesn't even offer to pay the bill.
Yeah. So for me, dating ick, and this might sound I think I know what you're gonna say. I think I know to some girls, but if you don't offer to pay, that is like at least make the attempt or offer to pay. Like that is that was an. I think I offered. Did I offer? You did. You did. But if the guy
lets you, that
is a huge red flag.
Yeah, I totally agree. Which is very controversial actually, because I think not any girl, a lot of girls will go in. I know so many girls who go in and be like, I'm not even offering, he's gonna pay my bill and he's gonna take care of me.
Or not even getting like a thank you. That's happened to me before, like the expectation that I was gonna pay.
Yeah.
And like I remember I was out on a first date.
Yeah.
And we were just hanging out and I was like, oh, you wanna grab something? We ended up going to like this super nice Italian restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah.
No real thank you. I'm like, what the heck?
No.
Excuse me for a meal?
Which is funny because I know like so many, and I've been I'm not going to say I haven't been guilty of this, of like, am I going to go on this date? Like, I don't know, like at least I'll get a meal out of it. Like that's kind of like like the idea in the back of our heads, which for the most part, yes, they always do pay. But like he's saying, like, I think you should still offer. Like, I think it's just like a courtesy thing. I don't know. My mama raised me right. but my mama raised me to be taken care of too. So like I knew like it shows a lot if he's going to even offer. So it's both ways. Come on. We're a team.
Now it's easy because we share a bank account.
Yeah, it's a lot easier now. I mean, I have a few on here. Going back to going out to eat. Grinds my gears. We're both from the service industry, but if you are rude to the waitress or the server, the busser, I don't care who it is.
Big red flag.
I don't care who it is.
Yep.
No, that's a no for me. And no. But then that extends to like if you're just rude to people in general for no reason, I just can't stand that. It is not hard to be nice. That really, really irks me.
Yes, that has happened to me on a first date as well.
How did you handle that?
I just kind of I just knew from that moment on. I was like, well, that was
nice knowing you.
See you later.
Yeah, no, that's bad. Bad hygiene.
I don't have any personal experience with that one.
Really?
No.
Well, I think it's just like the occasional bad breath is that's unfortunate. I've got
a good tip for the guys.
Yeah.
Always carry like in your car, just have like a to-go mouthwash, a travel size toothbrush and toothpaste in your car.
I have a little spray.
Yeah, that works. Like
I use it
at work.
Yeah, this is a huge green flag, almost beige flag, but like when we were dating, I think you carried at work, maybe that's how I saw I was in your backpack like you showed me, but just like the mini toothbrushes that's a huge green flag, let me tell you. What else? You got anything else? These are like more like character things, but if a guy I learned doesn't have any friends or community around him, I usually feel like that's the red flag for me.
Yeah, I think from my experience, like if you're brand new to a city, like that's
different. That's different.
But yeah,
if you've been living in this place for like a good amount of time, and okay, this is different though. If you like learn that there's been effort made and maybe it hasn't worked out the way that you wanted, that's totally different. But if it's like you're just content, like, and you're not going to have anyone around you to pour into you, or vice versa, that's a little, it's like bordering on orange flag.
I know one for guys.
Yeah, what?
For like
on the behalf of guys.
One that I'm sure a lot of guys can relate to. When you're dating a girl and she has like a guy best friend. This can get like real dicey real quick, because I've experienced a couple of times. I've experienced where they're friends with their exes too.
Yeah.
And that is a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And it's nothing that we've never experienced that.
No. Luckily, I feel like we came into that very much on the same page already.
Yeah. I mean, there have been times where I'm like, hey, I'm not comfortable that like you're still friends with your ex, or that you spend this much time with like another guy. I've been met with like some pretty harsh backlash and feedback from that. I
think that at least on behalf of a girl's perspective, like for a guy to not have those girl best friends, like immediately for me, and I think for a lot of girls, makes you feel like safer and like more at comfort. I've had tons of experiences like that too, where I thought about pursuing somebody and just saw all the girls that he was going to be around, and that's just immediately like, and not to say you can't get past that, but to have to start your relationship already trying to convince yourself or like establish trust when
this is not me saying that guys shouldn't have friends that are girls.
Yeah, it's just the level to which you're friends, to which you're hanging out. I mean, because like we're best friends. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, that goes into what you should be preparing for before you dive into a relationship. I think like you should be prepping yourself as if you're like, so that you're ready to be in a relationship and you don't have to immediately cut people out. Like if I were to have a best guy friend all the way up until we were dating, and then all of a sudden it's just lights out. Because I've been on that side too, where I've been really good friends with a guy who was single, and then he gets in a relationship and then I'm gone, which is totally like I respected, because I would want that on the same end, the other way around. But it is really hard to like lose that friendship all of a sudden. Yeah, this isn't just for girls, it's for guys. Like I would want to make you feel safe and like you didn't have to doubt me, or that you weren't trying to like share time. Just it's weird. It's a weird boundaries thing.
We're not experts here.
Yeah, we're not. This is just us talking out loud. I think there are couples who have different boundaries of like what they're comfortable with. So that's like not a blanket statement what we're saying at all. But I personally appreciated that you didn't have any girl best friends, which he was great. Like I knew that I could bring you around like my girlfriends though, and still have conversation and still get along with them and like be a gentleman, but also just like be fun and goofy and like just know how to act normal without it being flirty or without it being too much where it made me uncomfortable, you know? So I think it is important to like have other friends, you know, of the opposite sex who you have like really like just, what's the word? Like just amicable
relationships.
That's a good word.
Thank you.
We're really big into words around here.
It's just like even bringing you out, like we did a wine day. Yeah. And like Maiya got along great with all the girls. They loved her.
Yeah. And then same with my friends, and just like bringing you all the time over. Me, Victoria, you. It was just like a safe place. What was your worst date?
You
got one already? So many. Okay.
So many.
This man is so popular.
I do have one. So I was 19.
Okay. Where were you living at this time?
I was living in Massachusetts. Okay. I had met this girl at the Christian summer camp, and like we had mutual friends.
Go back to the Christian summer camp.
So we're talking, and we made plans to go out, and this new movie came out called Black Swan. Have you seen Black Swan?
I haven't seen Black Swan. Swan? I haven't seen Black Swan.
I had no idea what the movie's about. It's definitely not a first date kind of movie.
Is this like a saucy movie?
kind of like very like psychological thriller, kind of twisted.
Okay.
But there were definitely some questionable scenes in the movie where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so uncomfortable right now.
On a first date, did you get dinner before or just movie first?
Right
movie first.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a very, very awkward movie, and it was a very quiet ride home.
Oh my gosh. No debrief in the car about it?
Not really, no. Not to my
Didn't have dinner after?
No.
Just movie.
Just movie.
Just movie.
Yeah.
How much of the movie did you actually watch?
I'm
just kidding.
Oh, that's funny. I was so uncomfortable the whole movie.
Yeah,
so I thought that's what you were asking.
No, I could tell. Oh my gosh. That's really funny. I'm sure you have so many. I'll tell you one of mine, which this is actually some tea, but I met this guy in Austin who lived near my hometown at home. Okay. So when I went home, I happened to be going home the next weekend. Next week or weekend, went home. He asked to go on a date. When I got home, it was like, what are the odds this is fate? Not fate, but it's just like, what is going on? My ID dropped at this place that we ended up meeting. He picked it up and was like, what, you're from this hometown? So it was that kind of vibe. Going into the date, this guy asks me nothing really about me. Like, first of all, he picks me up for the date. The restaurant's not that far from my house, but I told people where I was going to be because that's a little sketchy. But anyways, he takes me to this dinner. The guy only talks about money, like the whole time, about how he's apparently making a ton of money. But then when the bill comes, he's like stressing. It's like $100 maybe like just on the edge.
Oh, that's chump change in Austin.
No, yeah. And I was like, what? And he's like, oh, okay, what did we order? And I was like, he ordered basically all of it, and I got one drink. And I was like, this guy was talking all about how he made all this money. He was talking about himself the entire date. Did not didn't ask any questions about me. It gets better. We're driving home. In my mind, I'm like, this is not it. This is not happening. The conversation isn't flowing. We're just on two different wavelengths. And he drives me home, and he's like, okay, like, so we're going to keep dating? I'm like, no. I didn't say it like that, but I was like, you know what? I'm going back to Austin, and I'm just not really in a place to keep dating. He begs me. Begs me to keep dating. He's like, no, we can make it work. And I'll blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, respectfully, no. It was like, I had to like let him, I'm not even kidding when I say he was begging, and it was just a very weird date. Do you have any other juicy ones?
I do have one. I'm gonna keep this one like pretty high level, but I was living in Boston. High level.
Like on the DL?
What's that?
Like on the DL?
No, like opposite of the DL.
Oh, you're going to give
like
all the details.
High level is like, I'm going to give broad strokes.
Okay.
In-depth into it.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Went out on this date in Boston, and there was like usually this place called Assembly Row. Had lots of like cool little restaurants, so we met there. Met her, seemed like a sweet girl. As we started having conversation, it took like a hard left turn, and it got way too personal, where she was telling me about like stuff going on with her family. And like, I'm not talking like, oh yeah, like it's just been like a hard couple of months. No, like getting like really in depth, like stuff
the nitty-gritty
involving
about
like police. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
We ended up getting into a conversation about faith because I told her I was a believer. And then just a lot of really intense line of questioning, which I love, like getting into those kind of conversations. Curious. But then it took like another hard left turn, like biblical occult stuff that isn't necessarily considered biblical. And I was like, okay, like this is like, we're off on like a really weird road here.
Yeah.
So whatever, like
strong start.
I'm like, okay, this is not going well. And same thing.
Did she offer to pay?
I'm like, no, she didn't. I don't think she did. But then she's like, hey, I got this joint. Like, you want to go smoke it in the garage? I was like,
it's like the trifecta right there.
I'm okay. Thank you, though.
Yeah.
I need to go home and get to bed.
I need to go home and get to bed.
It was very strange.
Well, how old are you at this time?
Oh, like 25, 26.
25, 26. Okay. Nice. Okay, let's get away from the icky dating. Let's go to hard dive into some controversial questions. This isn't really controversial. This is like yes or no, and then we'll keep going. Okay, first kiss on the first date.
It depends.
Yeah, I think that's so fair. Why didn't you kiss me on a first date?
I'm just kidding. We're also at church, and then you had to go to work.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I didn't want to kiss on the first date.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously you think about it, but I'm like, no, I'll be seeing you again.
It very much depends.
Yeah. Our first date was pretty quick, but after that, all of our other dates were like pretty long. But we were
kissed on the third date.
Yeah.
Third date.
I don't know how, still to this day, I don't know how we did it on the second date. But we were just like talking and yapping and having fun. And like, then I was like, wait, so you just want to be my friend? And I was like, no, no. And then we made it clear.
To be fair, those first 2 dates were in both pretty public places.
That's fair. That's so fair. And like, honestly, I like how it went. Like, we just talked so much, got to know each other. And anyways, it depends. I agree.
If you're a guy and you're really feeling it and you're feeling very confident, I would say go for it.
Yeah, I don't think that girls hate it when like a guy tries, but it could, how do I say this? If the girl isn't feeling it, you're going to know.
Yeah, you will know.
So like, just know by taking that risk, you're going to know.
Yeah.
But it's good to take risks. Take a risk. I think a lot of girls like it though, if you make the first move, if she's feeling it. Yeah. So good luck. Okay, how about, you already answered this. Yes or no? Stay friends with the exes. He already dived into that.
No. That's always been like a rule of mine.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, hey, if like we end things, like we're ending it. And I've even had people like think I was kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to like keep like, giving you any false sense of hope.
Yeah. As a girl, I like that. Like, I'd rather somebody be extra clear with where we're at than try to play both sides. And you're not the kind of guy who plays both sides. You're just like, nope, this is what I'm focusing on, and want you to have that clarity. So, yep. What are your thoughts on PDA?
I mean, like,
that's the best reaction.
Early on dating, I like PDA. Like, we hold each other's hands, we kiss in public. Yeah, don't overdo it.
We're not going to be the people in the middle of the high school walkway, like making out, like making everyone walk around you, and that's weird. That's weird. Don't be weird about it. Yeah. But no, I like we're physical touch people. So that's something that we like. If you don't like physical touch, you don't feel like you have to do that. I like to know that like we're here, you know, like with each other. So like just a gentle little like, hey, like, and then I don't mind a little kiss. I said I don't mind. I love a little kiss.
Yeah. I feel like most couples practice that appropriately.
Well, some people like are like, do not touch me when we're out in public, and don't even think about it. Like, don't even look at me. That's why I said it has to do with your love languages. It has to do with your preference. So, is it fair to break up with someone via text or social media?
This is another one where it depends. Yeah. I would say you should have the conversation in person. You owe it to the other person, which I used to not be that person.
That's fair.
I would very much like, ooh.
Yeah. You did a few ghosts in your...
Ghosts, not proud of it.
That's okay.
And I'll never forget, I was just talking with one of my buddies. I had ghosted a girl, and I was out and about with some mutual friends, and we bumped into each other, and she was very friendly. And she just like approached me and said like, hey, listen, like that like really hurt my feelings, and like I just really hope you don't
she called you out
anybody else again. She was like so nice about it though, and it was like like pretty much like a soft rebuke. And from that day I like never did it again. And I was like, I actually really appreciate you telling me that, like I'm really sorry. So if it's like a couple of Hinge dates, like, hey, sending out the hey, like it was really great getting to know you, I just don't see this progressing. So
third date, let's say our third date, we were on a third date, didn't go, we're not going to continue, you would have sent me a little text, a little message?
I mean, like, we weren't officially dating at that point, but I would say like if we were at that point, probably by the end of the date I would tell you like, hey,
that's listen. Fair. Okay.
And vice versa, because I've been in situations where like I put it out there that I was interested in someone. Like I just like, I'm not sure if I'm there yet. I'm like, that's cool, but like I just need to let you know that I don't want to keep pursuing you if it's not mutual. Like kind of saying like, hey, like if you are interested and like you can see this going somewhere, like just let me know. If not, like no hard feelings. I have been put into the situation where somebody was refusing to see me because they knew a breakup was coming. So I had to refusing
to see you. So like refusing to go on the date you guys had planned.
Refusing to see me because they
asked
knew
to see each other and they said no.
That a breakup was coming. So I had to do it over text.
That's totally fair. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Delaying the heartbreak.
Yeah.
Man.
But I'd say if you're in a relationship with someone, just have the conversation.
Yeah. That's a hardcore no to text or social media if you're actually in a relationship. Yeah. I think use your best judgment, but generally it's just best practice to do that in person. But I will say that I've been guilty of that in the past too, just a casual ghost. And usually it's just like the one-off dates. Honestly, more so than not, it's the talking stages that I feel like, okay, we're not together I already know you're talking to other people too, and it's just like you just slowly stop talking. I feel like that's what happened a lot when I was dating. Should couples have access to phones / social media?
This is another one that depends. So like Maiya has open access to my phone.
As do you.
Yeah.
To mine.
Like she knows my password. I know her password. There's no like, oh, like don't touch my phone. If you're just dating, like you need to reach that level of intimacy, I think, and comfort in order to do that with somebody, because that like does open up the gateway for a lot of trust. But I feel like I've always been like, oh, my password's X, Y, and Z.
Definitely.
Like, yeah, go change the music or something.
I just want to clarify, I'm not the girl who's just like, I need to see your phone, I don't trust you. He's the one who was very much like, hey, just, this is my password, just go grab that. And it's not even about like, I don't just pick up his phone and just go scrolling and vice versa. But I think the big thing for that is that just you giving the option and like making it available is like already trust right there. So I have no worries.
If you guys are engaged, yes.
If
you guys have been dating and like in a serious relationship, yes.
Yeah. No, it's just like, oh, the fact that you're even like comfortable with me, like send this picture to myself or like answer your mom or like whatever, like, oh, can you text so and so for me, like things like that. It's like, oh, you have no worries because like I trust, like, you know, we trust each other. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. I'm trying to break up the fight.
No, you're
good. It even starts.
You're so good. You kind of actually already touched on this. When is it too early to share trauma experiences on a date?
Ooh, too early?
Too early.
Definitely don't be doing it on the first date.
I think that is a little early. Sorry, I had to check the camera, everyone.
It's different with everybody.
It depends.
It depends. And this is like, I know these aren't the answers you guys probably want, but it truly does depend on your level of comfort with the person. Like clearly I was not comfortable enough to hear everything that I had heard from that girl on that date.
How old were you when you were on that date? Just wondering.
26.
You were 26 on that date. Said you weren't really ready to receive it yet. Well, it could have been the story, first of all, but it also could have been where you were at personally. You were 31 when I was dating you, and I shared on the second date.
Yeah.
Some of it, which was very accidental, but for some reason I felt safe to tell you some things, but it was more of my testimony. So maybe that's why. But how did that make you feel?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
Can I set the stage for you though? Because this is really funny. I shared my testimony with him, date number 2, and guess where we were? In the middle of the water on a paddleboard.
Surrounded by hundreds of people.
So many people, and I was just like, this sounds right.
Meanwhile, I was getting fried by the sun.
This will always go down as one of my oopsies. But when we were on our second date, it was really hot outside. It's like 100 in the hundreds in Austin and humid. So he's like, oh, could you put some sunscreen on me? I like did the gentle the spray.
He's like, all right, you're good. I'm like, okay, cool, let's go.
Gets home and he's sunburned because I didn't rub it in.
I put a lot of aloe.
It's my bad.
That's okay. It depends on like your level of comfort with the person. Like, I don't think anything that you shared was anything that was like, I don't know, maybe it was just because I was falling in love with you. But I was like, it was nothing that was like going to scare me away. And it was something I really appreciated her telling me just because of like how intimate it was. And I don't think you trauma dumped on me by any means.
That's fair. I feel like some of that goes together with my testimony. But I guess I know what you're saying. It's not like, it was probably a little bit different than the story that girl shared.
Yes, it was to a level.
Different. Yeah. So it depends.
It depends.
That was the oddest thing to me, was that was coming out of my mouth though, because I would not have done that with any other guy I was on a date with. Like, I up to that point hadn't. I just felt so safe with you from like day one. It was really weird. It was It was a good start. I mean, this one, I don't know if we can use. Should I? This is the last one.
Oh, yeah. Go for it. Hit it.
Last one's thoughts on open relationships. Hard no?
They don't work.
Yeah. Why?
I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't think that they are meant to work. Yeah. I think it's like a very slippery slope, and that you should be with somebody who, I don't want to say completes you, but complements you so well that you don't need anything from somebody else.
Yeah. I like that. I think it's totally defined on what you believe a relationship to be. The fact that you're in an open relationship already, you know, shares a little bit about where you're at with what relationship means. But like for two people who think a relationship is a very intimate, like part, you know, to share everything with each other and then to go share those things with another person, to bring in another person, that's hard to imagine.
Yeah. I just personally, I could never imagine sharing Maiya with somebody else.
Yeah. Heck no.
Nor I don't think she would ever want to share me with somebody else. I think it creates like a tremendous sense of intimacy where it's just like no matter how like rough things can get or even like times of division in our relationships, we're still choosing to come together and press into one another.
I couldn't imagine running to like another
having
person,
the option of person. And I don't know how open relationships work, but it's just a matter of
we're just yapping, guys, so don't take anything that we're saying for like solid set in stone. This is just controversial Q&A, just thoughts. I just want everyone to get the best experience of having that person devoted to you and like vice versa. You being devoted to that person, to love that person full-heartedly and to receive that love, knowing, like you said, like every day you come home to me, I run to you, like getting to go through the highs and lows with somebody, which I talked a lot about in the last podcast. That's the most special thing of being in like a committed relationship. Is
one from like a pure biblical standpoint. I'll probably get some flack for this, but it's just not something I agree with. I made a covenant to you.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
because obviously we're coming from a biblical standpoint, that would never make sense in the perspective that we have about what marriage is, what relationship is. Like it is a covenant and it's so far beyond like any circumstantial thing that happens, you know. But for somebody who doesn't have a faith, okay, so long story short, I just think an open relationship does not reap the best benefit.
I just don't understand it.
That's totally fair. I think it's fair to say you don't understand.
It's another controversial take.
I think that was the last one I had, so do you have another one to just
palate cleanser?
Little palate cleanser. Okay, this isn't really a well, it could be. Do you think the dating process is a little bit opposite? And you know what sparked this question, actually, or just this thought process, was Love is Blind. Isn't that funny? So this is my thought process, is on Love is Blind, you go in and you have all these, like, not rushed, but like in a short time span, you have deep conversations, like just conversation after conversation. What do you believe about this? What do you think about this? What does your life look like? It's just like all these conversations about values and what life looks like for you.
Yeah.
And instead of like dating, having fun at the beginning, like going on dates, you know, and then getting to the point to see if your life matches up with that person, like with their values, with like what they see for the future, what they're excited about, like now, like, you know what I mean? Like you talk about, I mean, I don't see all of it, but it just made me think, like, what if dating, and this is really interesting to say that because there's only one couple that ended up together, but they knew if it was a hard no or yes.
Couple people throughout the show that have like made it.
And those couples are still together because it's like such a strong
bond,
and in such a short amount of time. And it made me think, I mean, this isn't the case for everyone, but you and I knew very early on, but I feel like looking back at our dating journey, like we had conversations really early, you know, and I don't think everybody does that. I think some couples get to like years in, you know, and then they start having conversations of like deeper conversations. But I think every couple's journey looks different. Every timeline looks different. There's no right or wrong. But I wonder if like, and this all goes back to like what you think about dating. Like, are you dating to be in a committed relationship? Are you just dating to because dating to get the experience of dating and like learning more about what you want and like who you are through it, that's valid too. Like you don't, sometimes you're not ready for like a committed relationship yet, but if you are, like, I just wonder if like dates at the beginning were prioritized towards getting to know each other more, you know, and like then let's see if we can have, which you can do both. Like we could go on a mini golf date and like talk about stuff and learn about each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
dating in a whole has been such an evolution. And I'd say even more so probably in the last like 20 years. Like dating is just evolving at like a crazy pace. And I think it's going to constantly be evolving. You can really get to know somebody without ever going on a date with them if you're just constantly texting back and forth. One of my really good friends is in a long distance relationship. And I mean, like, they deeply, intimately got to know each other just like through talking on the phone. I do think prioritizing, especially if you're dating with intention, like you need to be having, and they don't need to be like serious sit down, like it should always be organic, but you should be able to have those conversations to identify like if this person is compatible with you. And like even early on dating, it doesn't necessarily need to be building a life together, but more of the question of asking yourself, and it's something I asked myself a lot when I was dating with Maiya, is like, can I see myself like continuing to pursue Maiya? Is this a woman that I could see myself marrying down the road? And the clearer that got, like that prompted up a lot more conversations between the two of us, and like getting into those more intimate conversations. The core pillars are always going to be there. It's just like, like you want to be attracted to your partner. You want to have that deep sense of intimacy where you like really know like who they are as a person, why they are, why they are the way they are. Why are you the way
what
that you
makes
are?
Rob?
Yeah, no, it is. It's like what makes Maiya.
Yeah. What got you here? What got you to this place? Yeah. And I don't think that, that wasn't the right question of like, is dating opposite? It's more just like, it's honestly just like a meta-analysis of the Love is Blind show in general. But no, it's just, I think, I'm serious. I'm just thinking out loud. Can I tell
them the show that I posed to you?
That you posed to me?
All right. So I posed a show idea. I'm like, Love is Blind. Like, hey, instead of like these people talking to each other, like imagine like if they brought the parents in and they were able to find a partner for their child who they think would work really well. And then they like went into that experiment. And Maiya's response was, you think I would want my parents picking out who I dated? And I'm like, well, that's a fair point.
It's not just like my parents. It's just in general, like feeling like out of control a little bit. Like, I don't know. It'd be hard to like watch your parents choose for you, you know?
But
like,
what's nuts is that there's still like a large majority of the world that operates
No, I know.
like
No, I know. And that's
so
why when I thought about it, I was like, okay, that's like an arranged marriage almost.
Yeah.
So, but not that we would, I mean, on Love is Blind, it kind of would be an arranged marriage. But like even arranged dating, I guess that's like a blind date that your parents could set you up on. So, I mean, it's all very interesting. I'm just very fascinated by all of it. And like I said, there's no like right or wrong to how you approach it. I just think that the idea of like, because obviously you want to have fun with like your person, you want to be attracted, like you said, all those things are so important, and you want to go on dates and like be intentional with like surprising each other and like planning dates for each other. All that is so important. But there are like aspects where I've been in a long distance like situationship, and in general, like I've seen other people like talk about the pros of, like you said, getting to know somebody before the physical aspect is introduced and before like, you know, you skip over conversations. So I just think, especially for the person who's in a long-term relationship, if they get to the point where those conversations aren't had until a while in, it's hard to watch that time. You just want to be mindful of each other's time too, of like the having fun, but like also like this is like your future too, you know. And okay, do I see myself building a life with this person? And I don't know. It's hard out there. I feel lucky, but it is, like I said, I had a lot of years under my belt of just really trying to like prep and be ready and prepare. How do you know whether or not a relationship is worth saving or moving on? You can keep this as like bullet pointy as you want, or dive into it. It's worth
saving or moving on. Well,
like when you were dating, not when you were dating specifically, to save our
relationship, so
no,
I can't answer.
Not ours, just in general.
What I can speak to when it comes to moving on, you need to be able to look back at your relationship, especially after a breakup, and really be able to identify like, okay, like what led to that breakup. And I've been in the position before, after a breakup, all you see are the good things that had happened. Whereas like you look back and you see like all the amazing things that you were able to do together and all these fun times, and you really block out like the bad things. But if you can like rip off your blinders and really identify like, was this a healthy relationship? Was this somebody who like made me want to be a better person? Was this someone that pushed me to be a better person? And for me, 2 times I would say, like, I actually really had to like go and like identify that.
Yeah.
It was no. And this isn't to say that the girls I was dating were bad people by any means. It was just a matter of like, we clearly weren't the right people for each other.
Yeah.
And being able to identify that actually brought a lot of peace to myself. Not to say that it didn't hurt still after it, but it definitely brought a lot of peace. Now, if it's worth saving, I have friends that have gone through this where they've recognized, like, where they have ended the relationship and then they look back and they're like, I'm an idiot. What was I thinking? She was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I had to have a conversation like you literally have to like go throw yourself down in front of her. And you need to be ready to accept the answer that she doesn't want to be with you and respect that. It's like if you can look back and you can peel off the blinders and really see that this person was like making you a better person, I would say those are the people that, those are the relationships that might be worth saving. And I've even seen it in marriages with people on the brink of divorce where it's like they're right there ready to sign the papers and then they decide to like take a beat.
Yeah.
And they decide like, no, this is actually worth saving. Like this is something like we want to fix. We don't want to throw this away, which I think is like extraordinarily commendable. And I think it is something that like you'd have to die to yourself. And I think a lot of pride would probably die with you.
For sure. It's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
You kind of answered my next question too, of just like, what does a healthy relationship look like to you? And you pinpointed a couple of those things. Is there any other standout things of what you looked for in a relationship?
To me, like specific to Maiya and I,
taking it back to me,
you and me,
yeah, sure.
The markers for me that like really helped me identify that I was like actually in a healthy relationship, was one when I'm at like was and can be at my lowest. Like Maiya was still there, like picking me up, spurring me on, but she wasn't coddling me. Like she was like encouraging me, being very honest with me, and sometimes telling me things that I didn't want to hear. Another thing is just thinking like when we would go through like hard times, specifically around planning the wedding, when things were extraordinarily stressful, I couldn't imagine my life without Maiya and like be doing life without her. And I think that was just like a big testament of like both of us picking up and moving somewhere that neither of us knew anybody. We knew that we had each other, which was great. But communication is huge. Talking about things that you don't really want to talk about, but have to talk about.
Yeah.
And being able to do that in a like appropriate way and I hear healthy all the time, but I guess when I say healthy, I mean being comfortable that you can enter into the conversation and have it be constructive instead of just turning into a fight and going nowhere, which is something that, yes, I feel like every couple does. Like they have their fights that go into nowhere, but like even after those fights, being able to pick up the pieces.
Knowing what you're fighting for. Yeah. And I think not being easily offendable, which at some points every couple gets to that point where you're thinking about yourself. We had communication, like open communication, where I always felt safe to tell you things. You always felt safe to come to me. We've been really great at listening. Like I said, we always like are working on keeping that communication just strong in general, I guess. Always thinking of the other person and like fighting for us rather than trying to like fight each other, you know, which is easier said than done sometimes, but we always come back to, okay, wait, what's the core at this? Like we hate fighting, you know, like this isn't the goal. So like what's happening beneath that? But I would definitely say communication. I would say, I've said this somewhere, I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but I've said this to a lot of people of like your clarity from the beginning of like, as a girl, you don't get that a lot from guys as to like where their head is at. And from when we were first dating, he's always been super upfront about like where you were at, and like I never had to guess, and you always made the effort to tell me, not just to like plan, but like the actual like verbally addressing like, hey, like when am I going to get to see you next? Like I want to see you. Like things like that are so huge. And then even when there were like instances that came up of like you could have kept to yourself, you always brought me in. It was always something of like, oh, like you didn't need to tell me that, but he was always taking the extra step to include me. Yeah, I just want to echo like most of like what you said. I remember having this conversation early of like, I think we were talking about like what it means to love someone, and we just talked about it feeling like home, like really difficult to picture that home without you in it. Yeah, I come back to that all the time. Everything you said about like we're saving or moving on, I totally agree with. I think I've been guilty of holding on to the potential that somebody has and like picturing like, oh, but if they were in this circumstance, or if things looked like this, or this is just like this for a temporary time, but like this person could be great for this, and you start picturing all of the things you could do together, like the visual, like you just like create scenarios in your head. But when you reel it back in and you're just like, what is this person giving to me right now?
I can fix them.
Yeah. It's not a good mentality. Get that out of your head, because what they have to offer you now is like a really good picture of what they're going to be able to maintain.
You're never going to fix somebody.
Yeah.
And if like you're worth it, like they're going to get their act together and they're going to keep pursuing you.
Yeah. I agree.
And sometimes people just need that little kick in the butt. I used to be very guilty of having that same mindset.
One more thing is, for me in past situationships, whatever it was, like I could feel myself changing for that person, trying to like mesh our lives together almost to like make things more smooth or seamless. And I would temporarily want us to be like on the same page, but realizing like, okay, this isn't me. This isn't even like what I believe. And like from the beginning, like I never had to change anything like with you. If anything, I've said this before, but the floodgates opened because I just felt so safe with you that I didn't even know how to keep my shell on anymore with you, which is like good and frightening. And like I've had like in a good way, but it's just like when you find your person, it's like, oh, like you're going to get all of me. Are you ready? Yeah. And you never made me feel like, oh, like you should probably keep that under wraps, or like you should probably like take care of that before you come see me. Like it was never like that. It was like, I want you to tell me all of those things. I want you to
embrace it.
But you would sit in it with me. And there's a difference. Instead of, I'll be here for these other things, but like for these really tough things you're going through, let's just chat later when you're in a better mood. But you were like, no, like still come over, or like, let's still hang out, or do you want to just sit on the phone like with me? Like things like that. Have you guys benefited from this at all? We just like been ripping and rambling and yapping. Also, there are so many other things that I love about Rob, by the way, and us, but I will totally have time to delve into that for our marriage episode.
I don't think this is on here, but what would be your best piece of dating advice?
So for me, what I think is like the most valuable measurement of your guys' relationship isn't time, but like all of the milestones or like the hardships or the seasons that you walk together when you're dating. Like, look at what you've gone through together. Like, have you seen each other in every emotion? Have you guys walked through, like, change in your life? Because change can look so differently. It could be change that you decide, or it could be change you wanted or not. Make sure that you get to see, like, you guys walking through seasons like that you guys get to see how you handle as a couple. And that's just really telling. But I do think that our dating season was pretty short, but we went through so much, like in our, like, it's just crazy when you think about how much we walked through together and got to see in such a short amount of time. Because I don't think that's like always the case or normal at all. That's just one piece of advice.
I like it. Guys, I don't know how many guys watch this. Or
they're going to. Actually, I've had guys literally tell me,
probably take this, like, seek counsel when you're dating from people that you trust. I like that. People that you trust, people who know your heart, people that know you well. I mean, I don't know what like talking about relationships as girls looks like, but for guys, for me, talking with the guys who knew me extraordinarily well, like seeking out their counsel, I think this should probably go without saying, but take this advice from people who are in stable, healthy relationships, who can like pour wisdom into you. Yeah. I think that went like a really long way for me. Yeah. And the reason I say healthy, stable relationships is because those are the people who have like been through it all. Yeah. And they can speak a lot of life and wisdom into your life. I think keeping your circle of people who you listen to, it just gets overwhelming when everybody has something to say. Pay attention to the people who have known you for a really long time. Also people who have seen you go through heartbreak before. I think that like I've had friends
watch me walk through hard seasons like that and like know what I was fighting for, and have people like remind you like what you deserve, what you're seeking, you know, date in group settings, like be around other people, have them see what you guys are like together, but also just like take advice for the people the people who mean a lot to you and who have your back, like not just for when things are going good for them, but like also just because they truly seek the best for you.
Yes.
I would also say always speak highly of the other person to friends, to family, strangers for that matter, like when you're at work, wherever you're at, always make each other the first person that you go to. If you guys are having a struggle or having like anything going on, don't make it a habit at all to bring that to other people. You can still have outside counsel, but have that safe space of things that are just going to like stay with your person.
I think it was like the dating. It was like the dating and marriage workshop, or like
at church.
Yeah, at church.
Yeah.
And they said, he's like, if you're thinking about getting married or you are married, you're engaged. And we have a group of like a guy and a girl who are married, where it's just like no holds barred, where it's just like we can go to them with anything, and like know that they know us well. But they do it together. It's not like they're going into this space to like badmouth one another. It's always like very constructive, which is something that I love. But yeah, no, I'm like right there with you. Maiya's my wife. Like I'm never not going to be on her team. Like even if she's dead wrong, like I'm still going to be on her team until I can like come sit down with her and have that conversation. But like I will always be on her team.
And like not just when we're together, but when we're apart, always knowing that we're advocating for each other and speaking really highly of each other. I feel like it goes a long way. Oh, this is like thinking like down the road, but this is almost like mentorship / therapy like in marriage. But I also think that premarital counseling, huge. We did that before we got married, and it was such a blessing.
We're like pouring all this out. I am no expert on marriage. And
honestly,
like if there was like a newly married couple come to ask me for like advice, if it's a dude, I'd be like, dude, I can talk to you as a guy, but I cannot sit here and give you like advice on your marriage. Like we are just not there yet.
No, and if anything, this is honestly just a podcast of like getting ready to get to that point of marriage. Like it's a single dating like relationship before you get to that point. So I think we still need some time. We are 4 months in though.
Give us a couple like really hard situations to get.
Yeah. No, we are in the early stages, but there is a lot of prep work that goes in before it. I think if like to have a long, fruitful marriage, that's just some advice, you know. I'm proud of us.
I'm proud of us too.
4 months in, good job, baby. It feels
longer
than 4 months, like in a good way.
But it also feels like we just had our wedding, which is weird.
Kind of. The planning feels far away, which isn't a nice feeling because that was chaotic. But the actual day, it doesn't. It doesn't feel far away. So, guys, how are you feeling?
Feeling good.
Feeling good?
Yeah. Got a dog sleeping on my lap.
We're just one big fam here.
Yeah.
This is Rob and Maiya, you know, at the core. We will be getting a dog of our own here in the near future, so stay tuned for that. But stay tuned. It might be a vlog next, but if not, we're going to be talking about on my poll on Instagram that you wanted to see, like what we're learning in marriage, and do a podcast on that. So we will do that.
Yeah.
Any last words? Kind of tapped.
Getting ready for this work week.
Yeah, we just spilled it all.
We could potentially be signing a new lease on Tuesday, which is crazy.
We're literally in live time, figuring that out. So excited for that. And then probably coming back from our trip by the next podcast, we will have been on our trip. So I will update you guys on that. I'm sure it's going to be a blast. We're stoked.
Can't wait.
So stoked. All right, guys. Well, I think that concludes our podcast number 3. We'll see you guys in the next podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.